everybody, and welcome back. I'm Pollyanna Brown, the Biz Fairy Godmother, and I've got my amazing business partner with me, Susan Kate. She is a business and systems strategist, and I am a messaging, copywriting, storytelling, and PR expert, and together we make the badass team of M4 Business Mastery. And today we have a killer topic to talk to you guys about. So today what we're discussing are the excuses in our businesses that have held us back and how we've gotten rid of them so that you guys can do this for yourself in your businesses. The whole point is for at the end of this video, for you guys to be able to look at your own business and your own actions, behaviors, and thoughts, and look at where am I making excuses that are holding me back and how can I solve them? So we're just going to dive right in. And if you guys have questions, let us know in the comments. We will always come back and answer them. So Sue, why don't you take it away?
Cool. Okay. So you want me to go through the two excuses that I had that I felt held me back the most? Mm-hmm. Okay. So for sure it was this showing up thing. Okay. So which is kind of funny because Polly and I both come from an entertainment background. Both of us did modeling. Both of us did acting. So being in front of the camera and being on stage was completely natural to us. However, the difference was that I was in front of people for basically my looks and for basically my dancing ability, right? I was a backup dancer and in front of tens of thousands of people, which is the ridiculous part. But when it came to becoming a business owner and getting on in front of people and getting in front of people live and getting on camera and whatnot, it was now the focus was not on the way I looked, but it was on my brain. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, it just freaked me out. So I came up with every excuse in the book in the beginning. I came up with the excuse that, my camera couldn't handle it. My first coach told me that I had to make a video for him. This was in 2014. I accidentally, on purpose, kind of threw my phone on the floor so that it broke, so that I didn't have a phone. And he just didn't have any pity. He's like, well, then go buy a new phone. And then I came up with the excuse, there's a waiting list. Apple has like a 6-month waiting list. I can't get a new phone. So fast forward, now Facebook has lives. Mm-hmm. And I came up with this excuse. I have hair down to my waist, and you can't miss my hair because it's red. So every time Polly would want to do lives, I came up with the excuse of, I don't want to do them because it takes me like 90 minutes to get my hair ready. Okay. And it was holding us back because if we didn't have enough time for me to get ready and have the right light, we couldn't go live. Okay. So basically, she confronted me and we came up with the situation of I was going to do lives regardless of what my hair looked like, right? What is the worst that could happen? People are like, your hair looks like shit. Well, guess what? People in real life see me looking like this every day. So why am I trying to do my hair to go live on camera? Why? Because it lives forever, right? So there was like a level of perfectionism there, which is funny because I don't even teach that. I teach like be messy and wild. So it directly contradicted what I was teaching my clients. Okay, so it was kind of like a dirty little secret. So we figured that out. And then the other excuse that I have, and I'll tell the process too, how we do it. The other excuse that I had was that I'm a single mama and I'm used to having a live-in assistant nanny, and I don't have that anymore. So I just downsized to a much smaller place, and I'm still finding that I need help. So my excuse that I came up with why I couldn't do a whole lot of stuff was because I had to find a full-time nanny, a full-time assistant, a live-in. And oh my gosh, I just moved to a 2-bedroom condo, so I can't possibly have a live-in nanny. I'm going to have to move again, right? Mm-hmm. The solution ended up being, why on earth am I making this so complicated? Why can't I start with an assistant one day a week to go do the food shopping for me and go do the laundry and clean my house for me? Just one day a week, it would make all the difference in the world. And then that would give Polly and I marketing day. Okay. So there is a process that I use. Polly's process is a little bit different, but the process that I use for myself and my clients is I take out 3 sheets of paper and on it, I put where I am. Okay. What the situation is, where I am, where I want to go. And then I put all of the reasons why that can't happen. What's stopping me? What is in the way? And then each of those reasons, I break it down into, is this valid? Is this true? And how can this be solved? Okay. And when you start getting it down, I use paper because you could touch it, and I'm a tangible person. When you start getting your excuses down on paper and you sit there and you have time to really look at them, you really realize how silly what is stopping you is. Like, I want this 7-figure business. Okay. So that's my goal. That's over there. What's in between me and this 7-figure business are these stupid excuses that I have on paper. And I'm holding them and I'm like, am I even going to give a shit about this in 5 years? Do I care if my hair's messy? I have curly red hair. Of course. Right? Like, people either tell me I look like Brave or I look like Ariel. Right? Am I really going to let the fact that I don't have room for a live-in nanny stop me? Right? It's not the fact that I don't have a live-in nanny that's stopping me from getting to 7 figures. It's the fact that my perspective on it is wrong. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't willing to start anywhere. So that's my process, is I take where I am, where I want to go, what I want, and then the paper in the middle are all the excuses, what's stopping me. And then I start to break them down. Is this a situation? Is this excuse? Can I solve this? How can I solve this? That's my process. So I know that you have a little bit of a different one, so I'll hand it over to you, my love.
I do. So you guys, I'm going to tell you guys a bit about my excuses that I've made. And my number one top excuse was I'm an introvert. So I can't do that, right? I'm an introvert, so I can't get on sales calls because I get awkward. And when I talk to people, I fumble on my words. And it just wasn't valid. It's an excuse that I was using to not grow, to hide, right? Because I'm still an introvert and I'm still hopping on sales calls. And guess what? The business is growing. And
the funny thing is, you're such an amazing natural. So she gave me this excuse, and I was like,
I did.
Okay, all right, well, I'll do sales calls because I'm really good at sales. But then I heard her doing it, and I was like, what the hell are you on about? She's such a natural salesperson. She does like the thing that I teach, unselling. She's not attached to the outcome. So now Polly, funnily enough, is the one that does all of the pitches on all of our webinars. She's that good. So this was absolutely a bullshit excuse. All right, but go on. That's the
but it felt so real. And that's what I really want to share is it felt so real. I'm not good at this. I'm an introvert. It goes against my nature. And I used up every excuse I had to not talk to people, to hide. And it just wasn't valid. So once I dropped that, oh my gosh, so much opened for us. And then another one was either I'm exhausted or I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm exhausted showed up as, I really don't feel like doing stuff today. I've been working so hard. I deserve a day off. And I know I have this stuff to do, but I need a break. Right. And so instead of taking an hour to get my mindset right and get myself jazzed about the day and making sure that I took care of myself so that that didn't happen, I'd go Netflix binge for a day and then feel like crap about myself. Right?
For a whole weekend.
Right? And then that's it. And that happened a lot too, where I'd sleep the whole weekend and my hands would swell. So, and these are what we talk about when we're talking about valid excuses. They're excuses that have real physical presence in your life, but they have real physical presence in your life because you're making the space for the excuse to exist. And that's what I'm going to tell you guys about with my process. So that's that one. And the shorter one is, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Right? Or I absolutely have to outsource that because I don't know how to do that. Now, we are big outsourcing fans, right? But for example, I wanted to do a Facebook Live and I wanted to do a Facebook Live with Sue. I didn't know how to make that happen, but you sure as shit better bet that I was on Google figuring it out. And it's so funny. You can ask Sue, whenever we don't know how to do something, I'm like, give me a second. I'm going to Google.
Yes.
Right. And it's because I realized how many times I said, I don't know how to do that and stopped.
Yes.
And so the excuses, just like we've talked about previously, the excuses become these bricks that build these walls between you and your goal. So my process is a combination of one, realizing I'm in control. I'm the one who decides what I do, how I think, how I behave. So that creates my experience and how I experience what's happening. So from there, I understand that the excuses in my life are there because I allow them to be. Regardless of if they're outside of me or inside of me, they're there because I allow them to be. So it's about, for me, taking radical responsibility for my life and my business and my choices and saying, I'm not going to allow this excuse to keep me from what I want. So I'm going to come up with a solution that's going to fix it. I'm either just going to stop making the excuse and let that story go. And that's one of the more simple things that I've been able to do. And other things that are those valid excuses that we've talked about, those are things that you create solution plans for. Okay, what I'm doing isn't working. That means I'm not going to keep doing the same thing. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to shift it. And if I don't know how, I'm going to ask for help. And I'm going to find someone who can help me to fix this because I'm not doing this not one more day. Not going to happen. So that is how I shift. And the powerful thing about this is when you stop making excuses in your business that hold you back, the amount of change in such a short amount of time will blow your mind. I've literally done this and had results less than 6 hours later.
Yes. And if you notice, both of our excuses come down to, they were different, right? But both of our excuses, and if people watching, if you guys look at your excuse, I think your excuse is what's stopping you. A lot of it boils down to, one is when you get tired, you stop. So you don't want to do something when you don't feel like doing something. And that's not how successful people think. I didn't want to do things when I was so tired because I didn't have an assistant and because my kids were like bickering in the background. And anybody who knows me knows that bickering is like nails on a chalkboard to me. It just makes me want to like strangle somebody. I just cannot take it. And then the second thing is we didn't want to look. There was a perception that we would look bad. So maybe what we were really avoiding was like being judged for the way that we looked, for the way that we spoke, for the way that we came across. That's a really valid excuse that people have. They feel it. They absolutely feel it. But it's definitely not an excuse that should continue to stop you. Like, it is a very, very painful thing, right? Especially when you have the level of haters that we have. We have haters that are just cruel for no reason, that just like to mock you and like to pick at every little thing, right? And a lot of people, the fear of this stops them. And I think that we realized that the fear of this was actually stopping us. Like, really, who cares what my hair looks like? Does that change my business advice? No. I can still build the hell out of your business, whether my hair is combed or uncombed, right? She can still build the hell out of your business, whether her words are as fluid as she wants them to be. And guys, it's the same for you. So if you look at all of your excuses and then you figure out, what am I trying to avoid? It's going to help you step over it, step around it, or just blast through it. Honestly, it really is.
Absolutely. And the thing is many of you guys have service-based businesses where you're giving advice. Yeah. If you're making excuses instead of overcoming them, then what you're bringing to your clients are buying into their excuses and stories, which doesn't help them as effectively as if you were working through your own. And so this is a process. You know, it's not like all of a sudden there's no more excuses in our business, right?
Every level you hit, new excuses pop up why you can't do that. Right? Yeah. Like, as we hit a new level of people that we're surrounding ourselves with, you know, Polly and I are smart. Both of us have very high IQs. We both were straight A students in school. We both got scholarships. Like, we're by no means dumb. But as we're upping our inner circle and we're hanging out with like people, I don't know, like geniuses and
rocket scientists,
solve like the brain issues of the world, and people who solve cancer. That's a little bit intimidating. It is. Even when you know what you bring to the table, right? And even when all of the advice is to be the dumbest person in the room, like if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. It is still intimidating. So people always ask us, like, what do you go through as you grow your business? What do you go through as, because it looks like you're succeeding so effortlessly. And guys, if we could have you take away one thing from today, this is not seamless. This is not without its own bumps. This is not without its own issues. Like, it is a hot mess behind the scenes so often between, first of all, we have two females working together. That alone should be. Right? And we both have daughters, right? We both have families, we both have partners, right? So the hot mess is there on a personal level, but then the hot mess is also there on a business level. And she's an introvert. I'm an extreme extrovert. Can you imagine? Works, right? But at the end of the day, what we really want for you guys to bring back is, number one, we go through this too. Okay. So don't judge our chapter 5 by your chapter 2. We go through this too. It isn't what it appears to be. We are not as, I know that we make it look a little bit easy, but I promise you guys it's not. We have our days of tears and we have our days of frustrations and things get thrown and things get kicked, right? It just can be messy and tempers flare. I guess the overall solution is that we never stop trying to get better. And what that looks like, is different for the both of us, but we have a process that we go through. Oh,
I love you too, Maria.
Oh, that was sweet.
That just made my day.
Oh, I think you actually made her eyes tear. Are your eyes watering?
No.
That's how you know you got to Polly, as her eyes.
They do.
Keep this short, but again, that is the overarching theme of this. Is number one, where are your excuses? Here's our process that we use to get through our excuses. Trust me, guys, we have them too. And if we can do it, you can do it. Okay.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's a process. It's an unfolding. It is always happening. Yes. So it's not something that all of a sudden you're cured, right? And so we don't want you to think that that's the case. We work on this every day. And literally every day we sit down in the morning and ask ourselves, where are we making excuses? Mm-hmm. And we work on it together because we hold each other accountable, which is so powerful. But this is absolutely something that you can do for yourself. So what we wanted to give you guys is there are a lot of excuses people make to keep themselves from bringing clients in, right? Specifically. And so
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
A checklist.
Well, and it's so funny because there are so many things you think you have to enroll clients that are just outright lies. And I don't know a better way to say that. Like they're just outright lies.
They're lies and stories that you're telling yourself, and they are complete perceptions because you need almost nothing to begin enrolling clients.
Absolutely.
Don't even need a program. You can enroll a client into a program that you don't actually have. Okay. Now there is an ethical way to do that. We're not saying that you enroll a client into a ghost program that you don't know what we're talking about. We're just saying you can absolutely sell, and this is how all of the big marketers do it. They sell it first and then they create it. So to keep things simple, I guess we'll just give them our checklist that we have for them.
Yes, this is our client enrollment checklist. This will give you everything you need to have in place to enroll clients. So you know exactly what you need and exactly what you don't, right? So if it's not on this checklist, you don't need it. It's just not necessary. So go to this link. I'm also going to put it up above and down below for you guys. So definitely check this out. If you guys have questions, let us know. Throw a question in the comments or even feel free to reach out. We love hearing from you guys.
Yes, and if you have an excuse that you've been using to hold yourself back in your business and you want some help trying to solve that, go ahead and comment and we'll reply back to you guys.
Absolutely. We would love to help you guys through that. So for now, we're going to sign off, but you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of us. If you loved this and want to share it with your network, please press the share button and also click getting live notifications or the subscribe button with the little bell icon if you're catching this on YouTube. So we will see y'all soon, and I hope you have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.